So today we're taking a look at Aborigenus for the Nintendo Switch. Priced at just $4.99 on the eShop, this one, it's a true budget title, but as we wait for those, bigger releases and 2020 just to really get started, I figured let's take a look. So with such a low price point, can this 2D action RPG platformer deliver enough to warrant a purchase? Well, hit subscribe today, hit like, leave a comment below with your thoughts, and with that, let's get this started. So Aborigenus, and I think I'm saying that right, tells a very simplistic story. Basically what we get here is invaders attack your village, enslaving your tribe. An army of warriors are then sent to save your friends, your family, your girlfriend, but no one ever returns. Based upon flying islands for no reason other than it sounds cool because you never really see it, you set out to find out what happened and save the day. It's a decent enough idea, but there's no cutscenes. The entire experience, it's told on text-based screens. There's no sort of arcs for your character. There's no arcs for your enemies either. The eShop tells you everything, and it's not going to give you any more than that. Now, before we do move on to gameplay as well, I just want to mention one thing. There was a few issues with translation in here as well. Some of the descriptions in the game and the story just made zero sense to me. I will say the most part it's fine. It doesn't harm the experience, but I just wanted to point that out quickly. Okay, so gameplay, and this is where we start to see some serious issues with Aborigenus. Combat is simplistic here, coming down to a melee attack, thrown weapons, and then some magic that are essentially fireballs. The problem first off though is, I'm sure there's more options in here for combat, but the whole experience, it can be beaten in around 20 minutes, and I'll say I was taking my time. This gameplay length, it definitely harms the entire experience, especially the RPG elements it touts. It comes down to like unlocking abilities, trying new things out, but I never got a chance to unlock everything because it was just over so quickly. The RPG elements, as I said, of this game, it comes down to an upgrade screen where you can upgrade the type of magic you use, your weapon strength, and then the thrown items. This, for example, it progresses from blades to then boomerangs to axes. In concept, it's fine, but it's useless when gameplay doesn't give you enough time to try everything, work out what combination of attacks you like. One thing I also noticed was each weapon has a restriction as well. So for example, the thrown weapons, it says that you can only throw it once and it must return before you can use it again. Clearly this was never actually added to the code of the game though, because I just spammed the hell out of that throw button to use it 4 or 5 times at the same time. On that note, when it comes to controls, we are talking basic. The game uses text screens again to introduce the core mechanics the moment you load into the first world. That is basically move with the left joystick, attack with the trigger. But it misses out on instructions. It didn't tell me how to jump, nor did it ever explain how to use any of the abilities I was gaining. So you will find at moments in the game that you need to do a little kind of detective work and basically hit every button until something happens. My final complaint on controls is the climbing function then. To get to other platforms, you can't just jump off the vines you'll be climbing or the trees or whatever it may be. You have to climb to the top and then kind of just push the right stick so you just kind of fall off and land where you need to on the next platform. Then with combat, it's also very loose and basically results in jumping over the heads of enemies and attacking from behind with a spear or that throw attack. Weirdly, with the spear as well, you can't jump and attack at the same time. It's always an annoying design decision when they do that. Now as you do progress, as I say, magic, the thrown attacks, they can be used when you jump. It just made no sense to me why there was a particular restriction with just the spear, or whether this was an error with the game. Aborigenus gameplay, what we get here is basically 3 standard platforming levels of 5 minutes each, an endless running section where you control jump, attack and duck, and then a final boss that is about as simplistic as can be, and basically you need to just jump every so often. While the upgrades are nice to add variance, I'm pretty confident you can beat this one without them just by running and jumping over every enemy in sight. And that's because enemy AI, it's dumb as anything. They walk left and right and that's it. There's a stealth mechanic here where you can sneak up on them, but it's definitely not needed, especially when you get objects you can throw. The easiest strategy for this game, hang on a vine or stand on an adjacent platform and spam that throw button. They can't move towards you, they can't jump over gaps, they can't do anything to stop you and reach you. So yeah, easy way to win. Oh, and I will say quickly, those bars you see in the top left corner, the game never explained this to me. The red is health, the green with the running dude next to it for some reason is actually stealth stamina, and then the pink is magic stamina. It's rare you're going to run out of any of these, but it would have still been nice to have that information when I started playing. Okay, so graphics, and I don't mind what we get here. Super basic pixel art, but they clearly have varying locations for each stage. That's a nice touch. They at least tried. But there's very little else to talk about, honestly. Enemies repeat the same patterns over and over again in animation. The designs are also repeated throughout. Detail overall is super low, as you can see, even for the 2D pixel style it's trying to mimic. And then the animations, they're just really limited. Look at me climbing the vine here. When I throw a weapon, it just refers to the same animation you would have seen on the ground. Then my favourite thing of all the graphics, death animations are missing for your character. If you're killed, the game quickly cuts to a black screen saying defeat, but it's just so jarring and out of nowhere. What we have here is a very empty world, and I wish they'd done a ton more, especially actually when it came to showing that we were supposedly on these cool floating islands. Clouds just don't really show us that. Overall, graphics, they are okay. You can see the 2D pixel influence. It just leaves a ton of opportunities missed. Okay, so the last up, sound, and yeah, I've got to say this is great. So actually, let me clarify. The music is great. I really, really liked it. The menu music is epic. I really like that especially. Take a listen. And then in gameplay and story, it channels a retro meets tribal vibe that I did enjoy, so top marks there, or at least compared to the rest of the package. Sound effects though, limited again. There's a few attack sounds, some climbing effects, and that's about it. But yeah, music, best part of this game by far. Okay, so Aborigenus on the Switch, and overall it's a disappointment, let's face it. Gameplay's weak where the core mechanics are okay, but it just seems to be missing those simple elements like the jumping from the vines. The graphics are seriously simple again, they're okay, but nothing amazing. The story, while decent enough setup, goes nowhere, and then the sound effects, it's like 3 or 4 sounds. I will say the music is good, but the worst thing this game does is just being so short. 15 minutes for a game that touts itself as an action RPG platformer. How can you be an RPG with that runtime? At $5, I gotta say it's way too much money here. This one, it might be worth picking up in a sale around the sub $1 mark, honestly. But overall, this game, it's just bad. Today, I'm giving Aborigenus a 3 out of 10. It's not awful or broken, it just had very little going for it. Thanks so much for watching. Hit like, hit subscribe, leave us a comment below with your thoughts on this one. I'd love to know if anyone's picking this one up or saw anything different that maybe I didn't realise was good about this one. And with that, we'll see you all on the next Gaming X.